Over the last few years, we've seen electric cars of all kinds in the Indian market. Big, small, affordable and premium. But nothing is as exclusive or unique as this, the MG Cyberster, now launched in India. And today in carandbike, we are driving it at the best possible place there is to drive if you want to go really, really fast. Yes, the Buddh International Circuit. But before we do that, if you still haven't subscribed to carandbike, please do it right now. Also press the bell icon so that we can get you all the latest information from the world of automobiles right here.
The Comet EV, the Windsor EV, the M9 Luxury MPV, an electric vehicle portfolio as diverse as this is truly unique. But MG Motor India is still not done. And to make the range even more versatile, they've launched this two-door electric Roadster in the market. So let's enter the car and hit the circuit right away.
Now we keep talking about the biggest battery packs and the battery packs with longest range, but there's something special here on the Cyberster, and that is the thickness of the battery pack. Now MG says that this one comes with a thickness of just 11 centimeters. If you look at some other cars in the maybe the same price range globally, cars from Tesla or Volkswagen, which are the big electric car makers across the globe, this one is thinner in comparison. And that becomes really critical, especially for an electric vehicle, because what it does is that it promises you better weight distribution, and that becomes really critical and important when you have to hit the corners hard at good speeds, like what I'm doing right now.
You push the Cyberster as much as possible and the car plays along. It holds the line nicely, making it a fun to drive vehicle that will be equally at ease out on the roads, not just the racetrack. It is capable yet composed and doesn't go all over the place, which is something you like as a driver. The drag coefficient also is quite low, which aids in better aerodynamics.
But this is an EV after all. There is a battery pack under your seats, so maybe you don't sit that low as you may have in some other petrol powered Roadsters. And for somebody as tall as me, your head, especially after wearing a helmet, is almost touching the roof. So that is something you have to be mindful of when you're driving a car like this. Challenges of an electric Roadster.
Back to the numbers, and a lot has been generated out of this 77 kilowatt hour unit using a dual motor setup, one on each axle. So what's at your disposal is a little over 500 bhp, and wait for it, 725 Nm, that too right from the word go. And that is exactly what you want at a place like the BIC.
So the MG Cyberster has a secret weapon in its arsenal. It's called a launch control, and that promises me a really quick pickup time. So all I have to do is get into the super sport mode. So I press a button on the steering wheel, I'll do that. So left foot on the brake, and then I press the throttle, and then the control will get activated. And I have to just leave the brakes now, and let's see how fast this one goes. Crossing 100 in just over 3 seconds, that's how fast the Cyberster is. And I've crossed 200 in no time as well. So this is a seriously quick car.
And even when you have to apply brakes in an emergency, from 0 to 100, the distance covered is just 33 meters. And there is something else too that is really quick, the speed at which the roof goes up and down. It happens in under 10 seconds at speeds below 50 kilometers per hour.
And when you're driving on a racetrack, you would not mind some bit of sound that you associate only with iced vehicles, and that is what the Cyberster also gives you. So on the right side of the screen, chosen sound for your vehicle, which will give you the feel that you're driving a proper iced sports car on the racetrack. You can hear that? That is a sound that comes out of your silent electric vehicle, just to enhance your track experience.
Apart from launch control that works in Sport and Sport Plus modes, there are other modes too in case you're looking for a longer range. A claimed figure of 580 kilometers is quite impressive for an all-wheel drive vehicle. So if you drive wisely, you might end up doing more than 112 laps of the boat track in a single charge. So this one can go the distance in case you wanted to. Of course, the paddle shifts assume a different role here, that is for regeneration.
Now the Cyberster is fairly loaded when it comes to safety as well. So MG is giving you a whole lot of level 2 ADAS functions here on this Roadster. And then for a two-seater car, what you're getting are 4 airbags, 2 in the front and 2 on the sides. That's not all. You also get electronic stability control and even an electronic differential lock to make your drives safer when you're going at high speeds, especially out here on the racetrack.
Back to the pits, and it was time to focus a bit more on the design and that one thing you just cannot ignore: electric scissor doors, which can also be opened using the key fob as you approach the car. There's LED lighting all over and the sharp DRLs add to the sporty looks. The arrow-shaped tail lamps might get the opinion divided, but the full light bar does make up for it to a certain extent.
But what really appeals on a Roadster like this are things like a nice big sculpted bonnet, massive air intakes down below, and equally big diffusers on the back. And then you have these really special 20-inch lightweight alloys with Pirelli P0 tires, and these have already really impressed us with their grip out on the tarmac.
4 color options, 2 each with black and red roofs, make some nice combinations. You get a boot space of around 250 liters, which is good for a Roadster, but surprisingly no frunk on the MG Cyberster. In the cabin, a driver-centric cockpit is quite evident, with as many as 4 screens providing a whole lot of info and controls to the driver. A Bose sound system, dual AC and a PM 2.5 air filter make the cabin fairly loaded. You also get wireless connectivity for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
I really like this driver-oriented cockpit in the MG Cyberster with a clearly defined space for the driver as well as the front passenger. The lower screen here is really useful, gives you a lot of information as well as controls, and is very ergonomic to use. Not sure I can say the same thing for the 2 screens on either side of the main cluster. These 7-inch screens, your view is somewhat hampered because of the steering wheel, so you can't see all the info that is being relayed on these screens very clearly. But you do feel that you're sitting in a premium car because both the fit and finish as well as quality is of really high standards.
The Cyberster isn't a one-off. MG Motor has had a history of making Roadsters, and in many ways this one is just a modern day tech-heavy version of what the brand has always been capable of doing. It continues to surprise us with great products, and the Cyberster just adds to the list.
So how much will you end up paying for the MG Cyberster? Well, now you'll have to pay 75 lakh rupees ex-showroom, but that also includes a 3.3 kilowatt portable charger, a 7.4 kilowatt AC charger, and the cost covers installation too. Now that for me is good value for a car that is clean, gives you a lot of thrill, and yes, is exclusive to the core. So what do you think of the new MG Cyberster? Let us know in the comments below. Will you spend your hard-earned money on a car like this? Let us know in the comments below.